Good morning, and thank you for tuning in to SanAntonio FC Fancast, the Saturday morning preview. This week is preview the first away match versus the Oakland Roots. Royce, how are you this morning? Are you there, Royce? Royce is not there now.
I was on mute. I was on mute. How about that?
At least
Doing
it
well.
wasn't me this week.
I know, no kidding. No kidding. Good Lord. We're still getting this thing through, but hey, we're getting there. I'm excited. It's a big game day. It's a huge game day in the history of the USL in general and SAFC. So it's going to be a really good one. I'm excited. I'm here. Let's get it.
So to start out with, obviously, the big news about facing Oakland has to be the attendance. It is reported, according to Oakland Roots X account, 15,000 check, 24,500 tickets sold and counting check. So expect around 25,000 fans at the Oakland Alameda Coliseum, where I actually saw a Major League Baseball game there back in the day. So
R.I.P. the Athletics. They still need to be there. Kind of like we talked about off screen. Just to get it out of the way, the Athletics should still be there. The Raiders should still be there. Awful.
The Raiders, they've transitioned back and forth, but the A's, and especially where they landed in Sacramento, where I saw that they're just going to have one beat writer. Why? Why?
So I mean, it's not just that. It's they're going to be. I mean, we're going to go into this early. We're going to waste time doing this, but it's fine. We can talk about it real quick. They're going to be playing in a AAA stadium that holds no more than 10,000 people for at least 2 or 3 years. Like, there's no plan for this. It's even worse.
They have no home. They have no
they
home.
Don't. No, they don't. It's even worse than the Phoenix Coyotes playing at Mullet Arena, a 5,000 seat arena for hockey. It's even worse than that. It's even less planned out than that, and it just makes Manfred look worse than Gary Bettman in this whole thing, who are the commissioners of Major League Baseball and the NHL, respectively. It just makes them look bad. And the A's. I mean, with all the history, I think that's the biggest thing for me. The history of the A's.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, going back to the '60s, a long time ago. They've been in Oakland for 50 plus years, and to uproot that historic franchise, the Bash Brothers, Carlton Fisk,
Raleigh
Fingers, Dennis Eckersley when he got his start, just to kind of piss on that history. It pisses me off. I feel for the Oakland fans, not tonight, but I feel for the Oakland fans overall. It sucks, and I hate it.
It will be interesting, and like I said here, Jolanda Dow Pete says sightlines are going to be horrible for a lot of people. Even the tickets that they're selling now, they're like, hey, it's an obstructed view. But for tonight, it's a celebration of Oakland.
Correct.
100%. I'm interested to see how it plays on television. That'll be something that we'll have to see is how it plays. But, without getting into the tactics of the game, this is a major, major win for USL, a major, major win for Oakland. And to be honest with you, for SanAntonio FC, they get this one here, and then I want to say late April, May, they travel to Rhode Island Tidewater Stadium for the opening of there, which will, it's not going to be 25,000, but I think it's 10,000 plus for there. To me, this is a good experience to warm up to have to be the home opener for Rhode Island. that I don't think a lot of people are looking at for San Antonio FC, where they're going to be able to open up 2 stadiums for that here in front of large crowds. So getting your first away match, having it in front of 25,000 fans is something that's outstanding, and I believe the players are excited about it, because I think they mentioned, when was the last time that you get to play, especially in a Division II league, in front of 25,000 fans.
Correct. I mean, we haven't seen these crowds since the FC Cincinnati days. So it's pretty exciting. The atmosphere is going to be pretty raucous. Like we've said, they already said they've announced 20,000 tickets sold, and now they're starting to sell the upper deck in the left field area, which is has one of the goals blocked off. So it is a partially obstructed view, and they're selling those by the thousands. So it's exciting, and good for Oakland, but. Let's celebrate Oakland with a big old loss. So let's go into it real quick. First, we'll talk SAFC transactions and their injury report. Transactions 0, injury report surprisingly 0. Nobody's on the injury report this week so far. So go ahead, Harry.
Well, we already talked about this, but I guess transaction-wise, there were technically 2 mentions here.
Okay.
Mohamed Omar and
we talk it.
Gomez.
That's right.
But technically, and I know not player, because I know we said, hey, nothing happened, and then I was like, wait a second here, they did announce 2 international call-ups officially, so.
That's true. Yeah, Shannon Gomez is with the Trinidad and Tobago national team. They'll be playing Cuba in Gold Cup qualifying. And Mohamed Omar got his second call up to the Somalian national team. Unfortunately, he got called up last June and wasn't able to make the camp due to injury. But this will be the first time he's over there. We've seen his pictures on social media, and he is playing. I believe they play Guinea tonight, correct? Or today?
Yeah, I believe so.
And that's World Cup qualifying, so that's exciting. Mohamed Omar gets to get in on some World Cup qualifying, which is pretty cool. So let's go into this match, Oakland against SAFC. Let's go prior record. As we know, SAFC is 2-0 so far in the season. We've scored 3 goals. We've given up none. Oakland is 0-2 on the season, kind of mirroring that. Mm-hmm. They've played OC, who's one of the top teams in the league. They lost 4-2. And they played Monterey Bay last week, who we beat 1-0. They lost 3-2 to them. So they have given up 7 goals. They've only scored 4, which is an interesting fact for Oakland. And at the same rate, the 2 matches for SanAntonio FC were both home matches. The 2 matches for Oakland so far have been away matches. So this will be their first at home, and it'll be our first on the road. So that's kind of an interesting little tidbit there. And then, Harry, what do you think the lineup, or we'll go into formations real quick. So Oakland has run against OC, who's the superior team there. They ran out in a 4-1-4-1, or you can see that as a 4-5-1, kind of a more defensive low block formation. And then against Monterey, who they kind of more evenly line up with, they rolled out with a 4-4-2.
So I do want to give you one other stat here.
Okay.
Head-to-head, SanAntonio 4 wins, 3 draws. In Oakland, 2 wins, 1 draw. So the Roots have yet to figure out how to beat SanAntonio FC. I had originally had it as a 4-4-2. Mm-hmm. You mentioned that you think it'll be a 4-1-4-1, or 4-5-1, depending on how it happens. Mm-hmm. I actually kind of wonder about that, and the reason why is SanAntonio is a more defensive team. So
Okay.
if you wanted to be, because if both teams are setting back defensively, are they going to be able to break down each other? So one team will have to take the edge of.
So the reason that I think that Oakland's probably going to go with a 4-1-4-1 is they'll have that one in the middle, who's normally their six,
Daniel
Gomez.
Gomez.
Gomez,
Daniel
right?
Gomez.
Gomez is probably going to queue on Jorge Hernandez to try to shut him down, and at the same rate, they'll have a Sinistera up top as their lone striker to try to compete with our center backs and to occupy them. So I think going with 4-1-4-1 is probably going to help out Oakland a bit more in kind of shutting our offense down, plus creating space for their playmakers on the wing. So that's what I think they'll go with. We'll see. Obviously, that's to be seen. And with SAFC, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah,
Roll out with what you've rolled out with the 4-3-3/4-2-3-1.
I think for SanAntonio FC, obviously Sanchez, Madronda, Tainer, Cronali, Buckmaster, Hernandez, Soto, Hernandez, Soto, Lacava, Agudelo, and Pacheco will be the lineup here. I also do think we're starting to see a little bit of a trend of people off the bench with Luke, Suaje, Juan Sebastian Osorio. I think Alex Grieve is kind of ahead of Dimitri at this point for for the first attacker. Well, after Luke off the
Right.
bench. I'm interested to see with Shannon and
And then,
Omar off if Nelson Flores Bronco makes an appearance.
Yeah.
Or if
in
it'll
the
be
squad.
Sebastian, was it
What?
Citrelli?
What? I don't think. I think I think he's kind of the backup center back after Suaje. So he'll be in the squad. I don't think he gets in, barring injury. Knock on wood. Hopefully, we don't have injury. And you also forgot, is it Becerra?
Yeah, I don't have him on the list here.
Yeah, I mean, last minute signing, but he's subbed in twice as kind of the backup six to give some respite to Soto. So, but yeah, like I said, like we said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Oakland is probably going to roll out. They've had similar. They basically had the same squad come out, just in different
Well,
formations.
no, they've had a couple of different. So
okay, go ahead.
Center back. Kai Green's been the one consistent.
Former SAFC.
Former SAFC. Kendall McIntosh has been the goalkeeper for the first two matches. Former SanAntonio FC.
Who's from Oakland? That's why he signed over there. So, yep. Also, SAFC alumni.
Tyler Gibson, former SanAntonio Scorpions.
Scorpion, yep.
Camden Riley of RGV fame for that here.
The redhead, yep.
The redhead. Justin Rasmussen and Neville Hacksaw have kind of been in, as well as Wolfgang Prentice. They started in the 4-1-4-1. But Adi Mohammed and Babacar Nai and Emmanuel Johnson has also started. So they're still trying to figure out their best 11, I guess you could say, which obviously makes sense with them being 0-2. They're making some changes. They did sign a goalkeeper this week here that had been rumored, checking out the Roots blog. Who does a great job, like Jonathan Check and Bluish Moon, on covering the Roots. Did mention that this has been something that's been in the works. I don't know with him coming in this week if he'll get ahead of McIntosh or if he ever will, but that'll be one thing to look out for. But to me, the two big players to look out for is Jose, was it Sinistera?
Jose Sinistera up top.
And then
their playmaker, their number 10, Armin Dakas, who was with Loudoun, and then last year was with Phoenix, and now is with Oakland. That's kind of their big
That's
signing in the offseason. That's their big playmaker. Yeah,
Armand Dox is basically their Jorge Hernandez, which,
correct.
like I said here, if he gets going, watch out. Jose had, the Sinistera has a goal and assist, but they've been a pretty balanced team through there here. But he's been the one that starts out.
Balance and giving up goals. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Well, defensively is the issue. And
yeah, correct.
Looking at their defense, it doesn't scare me, and I know it's kind of bad to say.
It's a good reaction, yeah.
But it's not. It's Kai Green's good, Hackshaw's good, but they're a little bit long in the tooth for that here. To me, LaCava, Pacheco for SanAntonio FC. This might be your game that, as president of the Agudelo fan club, you might see some results for that here. But to me, I'm interested to see how LaCava and Pacheco do going up against this defense for that.
Yeah, this is definitely a match for them to dribble at, to have a lot of take-ons, a lot of dribbles, and to really try to create from the outside for sure.
But as we both know, don't sleep on teams.
Yep.
And number 2, I think the biggest key to this game, and I'll let you do it, is what?
The biggest key to this game is score early and get the crowd out of it. Because
Exactly.
the crowd's it's gonna be a big factor. So score early, don't leave it late, and leave no doubt. Those are kind of my keys for the match for SAFC. So I guess let's go into score predictions. Harry, what is your prediction for the score for tonight's match against Oakland Roots?
I am going to go SanAntonio 4, Oakland Roots nothing.
Wow. Really leaving no doubt. I'm going to go SAFC 2, Oakland Roots nothing. I do think SAFC's defense has really been stout. Obviously, this will be their first road match, so we'll see if there's how they maintain their form on the road. But that crowd is going to be something, but SAFC really needs to work on scoring early, getting the crowd out of it, really suffocating the match. And then I think Oakland kind of comes out too much for a goal, leaves themselves exposed, and SAFC will win 2-0. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Wolf says 3-1 SAFC, our good friend from Germany. And Diet Coke 210, SanAntonio FC wins 4-0 like me. And Jolanda Dow mentioned the crowd is going to be intimidating. I think it's going to be a party atmosphere. Because just looking at it here, they're going to have a lot of food vendors. They're going to have Too Short at halftime do a
Oakland legend Too Short's going to do their halftime show, which is pretty wild, pretty cool.
And then obviously fireworks post game along those lines here. So to me, like I said here, if SanAntonio gets ahead like I hope they do, I just think when you look at talent versus talent, at this point, I just think SanAntonio's just a much better team deeper.
Absolutely.
But before we get out of here, we do have to go over last week here. On our results, it ended up being Harry getting 6 right, Royce getting 5 right. So I won the week 2 predictions here for that here. We already did Oakland, SanAntonio. So Detroit, Birmingham Legion for it here. I'm actually going to go Detroit because I think
same. It's at Keyworth as well. So give me Detroit.
And Legion lost to Little Rock in Open Cup, so I think they need a coaching. They need a coaching change.
That's what I've heard as well.
Next up, Louisville City and Loudoun. I'm going Lou City. I know Loudoun's a little bit better, but they always start out the season well.
Just to be different. Oh, for sure. Just to be different, though, give me Loudoun. Loudoun's on a really good form. I think they can surprise some people. Lou City sometimes underestimates some of the opponents. Give me Loudoun in that one. That's probably a stupid pick, but give me Loudoun.
Our buddies out west, New Mexico United, Somos Mas, or pardon me, United Front, staying corrected here, and Seriously Loco. If both teams could lose, that would be great. But both teams can't lose, and I do think El Paso is going to regret giving up a 3-1 game last week to Phoenix
4-1.
Rising. And
4-1.
4-1.
4-1.
To end in a 4-4 draw. So give me New Mexico United.
Give me New Mexico.
Lexington and Indy. I've been hating on Lexington all year. They keep getting results. I'm going to continue hitting on them, although I don't really like Indy much better, but I'm going to take Indy over Lexington in a rivalry that I think that's going to develop very similar to Indy, Lou City.
I think it's going to be fun. Give me, is this in Indy or is it in Lexington?
It's in Lexington.
Give me Lexington.
I'm just not a fan of them here.
That's fine.
I'm assuming two teams that have been underwhelming, Miami FC and Tampa.
The Battle of Florida.
I still got to go Tampa.
Yeah, give me Tampa.
You have to. Pittsburgh Riverhounds at home versus Hartford. Sorry, Hartford. I'm going Pittsburgh.
I'm going Pittsburgh as well. Hartford has not looked good.
Tulsa host North Carolina. I am going. Actually, I'm going to go I'm going to go Tulsa.
Yeah, I'm going to go Tulsa. I was like, really? You're going for a draw? Give me Tulsa.
Orange County, Monterey Bay. Yes, Monterey Bay got a win last week, but and Orange County drew Lexington at home, which was kind of disappointing, and drew at the death. By the way,
at the death, yeah. 90+7. Yep.
Mm-hmm. I do think Orange County comes out and takes care of business.
I think it's convincing for Orange County. Yeah.
Phoenix Rising and Rhode Island. To me, this one has draw written all over it.
Oh, no. Man, Phoenix is 0-2, aren't they? Right?
No, because they drew last week.
Oh, they drew. That's right. They're 0-1-1. And then Rhode Island's only played one match that they lost, right? So
yeah, well, they lost to Charleston at Charleston.
Right, exactly. I mean, big surprise there. Rhode Island was in the final last season against Colorado. Their big thing is I think they're kind of misplaying where Maxi Rodriguez needs to play. They don't have him kind of low-lying anymore. They're trying to make him a 10. Maxi Rodriguez is not a 10. He's an 8. You let him dominate the field. So they kind of have him miscast there. And then Phoenix, oh, boy. Give me a draw.
Both of us predicting draws. I just don't trust Phoenix at this point.
I don't trust either team right now. Exactly.
Sacramento and Colorado Springs. Colorado Springs is off to a slow start with a 2-2 draw against El Paso and then dropping the home opener against Detroit City. Mm-hmm. They travel to Sac Republic, who's only played one match. I think they won, right? Yeah. Oh, yeah. They got the red card. That wasn't a red card against New Mexico 1-2-1. It's just tough to play in Sacramento.
Yep.
I'm going to go Sacramento as much as I'd like to see a draw, but I think you got to go Sacramento.
Yeah, Sacramento with a money line for sure.
And then on Friday, this will be for week 4, but because we're not doing a show on Friday, we do it Saturday morning. Week 4 has Tulsa hosting Sac Republic. I am going to go a draw on that one here because it's in
Tulsa, yeah.
It's in
give
Tulsa.
Give me Sac Republic.
So
let's not overthink this one. Yep.
Yeah, well, you say that. Tulsa's 2-0 as well. So with wins over Phoenix on the road and wins over Tampa Bay Rowdies. So On
two
paper, quality
two
wins.
but two very disappointing teams so far this season. So I don't know. So we'll see. We'll see.
But,
Kind of open right now. Form is fleeting. So we'll see. All right, go ahead, Harry.
and then the other big news before we get out of here, USL, and it was broke by Paul Torino, had a vote to approve promotion and relegation at the professional level. It's the first time. It passed with the supermajority per a couple of different sources that I've heard. 90% of the owners approved it, which means 10% didn't. We had kind of a quick discussion on, hey, how do you think SanAntonio FC voted? I think that they voted no, just because I think SanAntonio FC tends to be very conservative. To me, they're not a leader when it comes to USL. You know, they're one of those stable teams that you need in the league, where that doesn't really rock the boat either way, but will be consistently good. But is not one that, you know, they're going to be out cheerleading for major changes. So I think they were no, but I do think that they will embrace it, and I do think that they will take advantage of it as well, even though they voted no, in my opinion.
And just to go over some of the particulars real quick, this includes creating a Division One league. So we're all guessing it's going to be USL Premier League. And it's going to start in the 2028 season. So only
Rumored. I think it'll probably get delayed a little bit, but
that's, I mean, so far the plan, it's what's being reported. So
yeah.
that's 3 seasons from now, which is pretty wild. I think SAFC was absolutely one of the organizations that pushed this the most. Yes, they're risk averse, but at the same time, they definitely want their product to grow. They're not risk averse to the point of hampering their own growth. This would be huge for them, and I think part of it has to do with the kind of revenge of the MLS saga with Austin FC and Columbus.
Mm-hmm.
I do think some of that has to do with it, and kind of my justification of it is SAFC was one of the few organizations in USL that had a very specific press release promoting promotion and relegation coming to USL. They had their own unique graphic. They put their crest and their logo on it, and they had a big press release. And we even got an internal press release that went to all the SanAntonio media about promotion and relegation and celebrating it and being excited about it and explaining it. So I really think, and not every club, actually most clubs did not even have a unique release about promotion and relegation. They just kind of retweeted or reposted whatever the league put out.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't have their own unique press releases at all. In SanAntonio FC and Spurs Sports Entertainment were one of the few organizations that did. So I think they're celebrating that. I think they're happy about it, and I think they're going to push. They're going to push the league into it, and I think they were one who pushed the vote to a supermajority and a 90% yes rate. The questions that this kind of poses real quick that I'm going to throw to you, Harry, before we get out of here. Do we think that USL negotiates with US Soccer about Division One status? If you're not familiar, one of the big hanging points that has always been a very arbitrary number and a very arbitrary set of standards that US Soccer has put up for Division One is that you have to have a certain media market. So your city has to have a certain population, which is just the dumbest thing. And your owner has to be of a certain net worth to be Division One, which also very stupid and very arbitrary. And the last one is that your stadium has to have over 15,000 seats. As we know, Toyota Field, the largest crowd in history at Toyota Field was just over 9,100, and that's for USMNT against Slovenia last year. So obviously that's well short. Do we think that USL negotiates with US Soccer to bring that number down to where Toyota Field is viable, or do we think that some adjustments need to be made, and that do we think SAFC looks into an alternate venue if they do go Division One USL?
So to answer those questions, yes, I do think that U.S. Soccer and USL will negotiate and give and be very flexible on waivers. Now, what those waivers, will they adjust the professional league standard requirements or remove them? That I don't know. But I think, at least in my time of following it here, USL and US Soccer seem to have the most healthiest relationship that they have between the two of them, where there seems to be working on this. And in the discussions that I've heard, from USL, they've talked to USL or US Soccer about this. So this isn't something that they're just doing out of the blue. The question is, will they be able to pull it off? The question is, for stadium wise, I don't know what SanAntonio FC does. Toyota Field is in a position to be upgraded. They did just invest $1 million into it. We talked, a couple episodes ago about the cost and time frame to be able to do it, to do the upgrade. I know a few of us, I think you're
Well,
the head.
it's right. This one's not an upgrade; it's more of an expansion. So
Correct.
the upgrades that they did this off season were obvious. Was a new pitch, update facilities, the locker rooms, the railings, and then the
The
new
Jumbotron.
scoreboard.
Yeah.
Those were obviously to entice for next year. Those are investments for next year to try to get the two teams that they want. So, peek behind the curtain. I think we've discussed this, but we'll go over this. Those upgrades, that $1 million, was to try to get teams for the World Cup to
Mm-hmm.
have star facility as well as Toyota Field as their base camp for practice for the World Cup. So we do know that authorities from the Spanish Football Federation have been in town, and they've met with Spurs Sports Entertainment. So pretty obvious they're looking at SanAntonio to be their for the Spaniard national team to be their base camp here in SanAntonio. And they're also looking at one other team, so we're trying to host two teams. It's SanAntonio's central location to go wherever you need to go in the country, plus Canada and Mexico. Obviously, not knowing groups, not knowing where they're going to play. Central location makes sense. Airport's easy to get out of, and to go wherever you need to go, especially if you charter a flight. So that's what those upgrades were for. At the same rate, now we're talking expansion. Toyota Field was always designed to be expanded when Hartman built it and had it designed. It is expandable to 18,500. The cost of which would be very, very, it would be a fraction of what it would be for a new stadium somewhere else, downtown, perhaps. So
But
Toyota Field is still an option if you expand it. It would be a few $1 million to expand for sure. It wouldn't be, it wouldn't be anything to shake a fist at, but it would be expandable to match the standard of Division One, and it would probably take the better part of a year to get that, depending on supply chain and everything like that. Which also brings up another viable option is the Alamo Dome, which is
which is
also
where
run by the
you want to
city,
go.
which is where I want to go because I would love to sit in an air-conditioned arena. You don't have to worry about weather. It's comfortable. I've always loved that stadium. Is it the prettiest thing? No. Is it going to be upgraded? That's the plan. But I've always loved the Alamo Dome, and I think having SAFC in the Alamo Dome would be big for the city. It'd be an easier parking situation. Tailgate situation would be very simple to do. And then you could just walk right down the road, cross the highway, on the pedestrian bridge, and then the Riverwalk's right there, and all the bars and restaurants you could possibly want are right there. I think it's a good situation. Or you can just head right down Sunset Station. There's a couple bars right there by Sunset Station you can go hit up in restaurants. So I just think all around that's kind of the Alamo Dome is a desirable location if you're going to change stadiums, if they're not going to upgrade to a field. So we'll see how that pans out.
But we got to get out of here. AJ's coaching juniors this morning here, so somehow he turned soccer into getting paid for during here, which
That's nice.
it's
Nice when you
nice,
can do it.
easy money. He's like, I love to do it, and he gets to return back to the kids here. So I have to get out of here. Like I said, good luck to SanAntonio FC tonight. Oakland Roots, like I said here, I hope the atmosphere is great for about the first till kickoff, and then
And then
30
SAFC scores in
seconds
the first minute.
in,
Yeah.
we put the game away, and you can still celebrate at halftime, you can still celebrate post game, but to me, it's a win for U.S. Soccer to have 25,000. Royce, your final thought, and then get us out of here.
Yeah, it's exciting. Definitely watch tonight. It's going to be a historic match. The crowd's going to be incredible over there in Oakland. Really feel for the people of Oakland. The Warriors have left, the Raiders have left, the A's have left. It sucks, but you have the Roots. Really happy they're supporting the Roots. It's very exciting for U.S. soccer in general. We feel for you, City of Oakland. We're right there with you. We're excited about this match and more excited about an SAFC win. Let's get 3 points on the road, boys. What's life without goals? See ya.